South Africa did not become angry overnight. Today's anti-migrant campaigns are the product of years of organized mobilization, online, on the streets, and increasingly through political movements. Between 1994 and 2026, about 700 people have died in xenophobic attacks. Attacks against migrants intensified around 2008, 2015, and 2019. They were organized but not yet formalized into national movements. The 2008 wave of attacks was the deadliest. About 60 people were killed and nearly 100,000 others were displaced. In 2015, mobilization was coordinated through community meetings and social media platforms such as Facebook. At the time, the government said there was a third force supporting the attacks. Then 2019 came and some political leaders declared that foreigners must leave South Africa, and violence soon followed. The movement started gaining momentum and becoming organized in 2020. There was Put South Africa First, a fully online campaign against migrants. The Put South Africa First campaign was driven by an anonymous account. It worked with a web of more than 80 accounts, and one thing was common amongst them: they recycled each other's posts, retweeted, and amplified one another's content. Their messaging often included incitement to violence. These accounts would pick content from ordinary users and feed it back into the network, creating the false impression of widespread public support. Research conducted by Wits University found no evidence of foreign influence behind the campaign. In just 4 months, however, the network expanded to over 50,000 accounts, all supporting the campaigns, fully online, and they were singing one song, Put South Africa First. The accounts pushed a common agenda. They argued that African migrants in Mzasi must be sent packing. They are depriving South Africans of jobs. They are burdening the country's public health system. They were responsible for crime, and they were damaging infrastructure. By July 2020, another anti-migrant campaign had gained momentum. This one was led by truck drivers under their umbrella organization, All Truck Drivers Forum. The campaign opposed companies hiring foreign truck drivers, while South Africans with similar skills remained unemployed. The drivers blocked roads, checked driving licenses, and disrupted supply chains. What followed was a government crackdown on companies that failed to submit employment declarations. 1 year later, in 2021, another movement emerged. Operation Dudula claimed to stand on nationalistic ideals. Dudula means to push out or to force something out. By targeting migrants and naming the movement Dudula, its supporters signaled their determination to use every means possible to remove migrants from South Africa. Operation Dudula targeted public hospitals in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal provinces. Members checked the identities of people seeking medical treatment and often asked them to speak local languages. Many foreigners presented passports instead of South African identity documents, which members treated as a red flag. They demanded IDs, and those who failed to produce them were often turned away. Unlike Put South Africa First, Operation Dudula grew both online and on the ground. The people behind the movement suddenly became publicly known. It later evolved into a political party under the leadership of Dudula. The movement claimed South Africa's healthcare system was being overwhelmed by foreign nationals. This was contrary to South Africa's constitution, which guarantees access to healthcare regardless of a person's immigration status. Operation Dudula later experienced internal divisions, with its leadership disagreeing on the movement's direction. The High Court in Johannesburg also ruled against it. The court found many of its activities to be illegal, unconstitutional, and xenophobic. In November 2025, the court permanently barred members from demanding identification documents from anyone, blocking access to hospitals, or carrying out unlawful evictions of foreign nationals. 1 year later, another campaign, stronger and more coordinated, emerged. This is the March to March. It became the largest campaign targeting African migrants in South Africa. Founded by Jacinta Ngobese Zuma, The movement advocates for stricter border controls and the deportation of undocumented migrants.
That person, is that what our police are telling us? Because we are giving them a tip of as citizens. We're saying there's drugs in this area. They're saying they need a warrant. So which law says the police can't act unless they have a warrant to stop crime?
The movement gave foreign nationals until 30th June 2026 to leave the country. Although branded as a campaign against undocumented migrants, it also targets people with valid documentation. March to March has been associated with Operation Dudula, different faces but the same direction. More than 50,000 people have claimed membership in the movement. The campaign soon turned violent, with foreigners attacked in their homes, workplaces, and on the streets. Many were left with only two choices: leave South Africa immediately or risk being killed. By April 2026, more than 10 people had been killed in these attacks, according to the World Health Organization. African countries have responded. Ghana and Nigeria organized emergency flights for vulnerable citizens. Malawi placed its citizens in temporary shelters. Uganda later organized emergency evacuation flights following the killing of a Ugandan citizen. Over the past 5 years, each movement appears to have recycled the agenda of its predecessor. But this did not begin in 2020. The three earlier waves of attacks effectively laid the operational groundwork for the highly structured anti-migrant movements seen in South Africa today. Each successive movement has built on the resistance against African migrants. While all these groups claim they are removing foreigners to fix the country using nationalistic rhetoric, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says what's happening is a betrayal of the very constitutional order that those committing these acts claim to defend. He adds that it is vigilantism thinly disguised in the language of patriotism.